This morning, while we are up here, 20 children will lose their lives from diseases caused by pathogens in their water. This morning, you brushed your teeth, you washed your face, you took a shower, you maybe made some breakfast, drank some coffee, and I think we could all agree that all those things require water. What we don't realize is that all those things require safe water. If you had to drink or do any of those things that I just listed with water that had diseases in them, you would have to be afraid of getting sick or dying from that water. And the issue is that people all around the world face that fear every single day. My name is Natalie Bonura, and I have worked for WaterStep, a nonprofit organization that's mission is to save lives with safe water for about 2.5 years now. And the reality is that 1 in 10 people on the planet do not have access to safe water. That's over 700 million people around the world. And our goal is to be able to lessen that number every single day. And while I have worked there, I've heard a lot of stories, I've told a lot of stories, and I've read a lot of stories about these people that don't have safe water. And they're insane. There's people that are traveling miles and miles to get their water. They are drinking dirty water, and that's just their reality. And to me, it was a story, but it wasn't reality to me because that's happening thousands of miles away. And that's not real to me until I entered Iroquois High School last year. Last year, I went to speak to a group of Iroquois High School students about WaterStep and tell them what we do. And I was up there, I was speaking about our equipment and our trainings and all the things that we do, and they started chiming in with stories. They started chiming in with stories, and they started chiming in with ways that our equipment could help them if they were back in their countries. And what I realized is they actually should be the ones that are up in front of me, telling me what it's like. And it got me thinking, and I was like, you know what? We need to bring these students in. We need to hear their stories because they're the ones that make this issue around the world a reality. We will never be able to know what that's like. We'll never be able to realize how real it is until we get to hear straight from people who have been there. Behind me are 8 students, just like you, seniors at Iroquois High School, but the difference is that they used to live in areas around the world where they did not have safe water. They had to travel miles to get their water. They had to be afraid that when they picked up a cup and drank the water in it, that they could get sick or die from that water. And so today we're going to hear their stories. We're going to hear what they had to go through in order to be able to get water for their families and just even stay hydrated.
Hello, my name is Abdi. I'm from Somalia. I'm 17 years old, senior at Iroquois High School. In Somalia, there is water, but it's just not for everyone. It's only for those who can pay for it. But sadly, my family wasn't able to pay for it, so it was up to my family to find a way for us to get water so we can survive. My 2 older brothers used to walk almost 7 miles every 2 weeks so they can get some water. They couldn't go to school because my father couldn't afford the school bills too. After a while, I started working with my brothers so I can get some more water with them, and it was really hard. And if anything happened, I couldn't run as fast as my brothers because I was so young at that time. For example, there might be robbers who will just take away your water or just wild animals. We couldn't carry the water in our head or bag, so one of my cousins came up with the idea of handmade wagons that we used to pick up some water. We used handmade wagons to pick up 4 containers, which each 20 gallons of water, and each of us had their own wagon and 4 containers. So that was 240 gallons every 2 weeks. After a while, working for water ended after my father got a job, and we started going to school like every other kid. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Juan Miranda. I'm 18 years old. I'm a student at Iroquois High School. I've been in America for 4 years, but I'm originally from Hoyabacache in Guatemala. So there are many people who don't know that there isn't much fresh water that exists in my country. Every day I had to get water at least twice. To get the water, I had to walk 25 to 30 minutes to the spring. And I carried 10-gallon plastic container on my back, and we don't have a tap on the spring, so I scooped it into my container with a pitcher. Sometimes the spring got contaminated because it was near the river, and also it was at the bottom of a large hill. So the people that living about the spring, they would wash their clothes and throw out sewage, and that would run downhill into the spring. This is how the water got contaminated many times. Because we didn't know much about how contamination made people sick, so we continued to drink the water. People got sick a lot. My family members would get weak, have vomiting, and diarrhea, and it was just something that's happened. And like I said, we didn't know much about how contamination made people sick, so we didn't bring on the water. And also because we didn't take science class, so we thought that as long as the water looks clean, it was clean enough to drink. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. My name is Tiffany Pius. I'm from Chuuk, Micronesia, and I attend Turquoise High School. Getting water here in the U.S. is very different from my country, because there we have to walk for miles to get water. And it's also hard because the roads are not paved, and it's also dangerous. I remember one day when I was sleeping, and I heard my dad calling my mom to wake me up so that I could go get some water. When I got up to go get the water, I felt so tired. I wasn't thinking about going to get water. As I was walking to go get the water, I saw my cousin walk into our house with her gallon of water. But then I decided to take the water away from her. Since I was so tired, I wasn't thinking about anything else. All I wanted to do is take the water away from her and go back to my house. My cousin didn't fight me for the water. She just handed it over and started crying. I was only 9 years old at that time. That's why I didn't feel bad about making her cry. My cousin walked home crying and told my parents what happened. I was in a big trouble from my parents. I was grounded for 3 days, and the thing is, I like being grounded for 3 days because for those 3 days, I don't have to get water. This may sound like a silly story, but remember, I was only 9 years old at that time. I tell this story to point out that at 9, I had adult responsibilities. I have to go get water, but I was just a kid who wanted to sleep and play.
Hello everyone, my name is Sarah Mohammed. I'm from Somalia, but I was born in Ifo-Dadaab, Kenya. I have been in America for 6 years. I'm a student at Iroquois High School. Getting water in Ifo-Dadaab in America is different. In Ifo-Dadaab, you must walk miles to get water, and it's really hard for the children because the water content that we carry our head and back is way up to 30 pounds. I started carrying water at 8 to 9 years old. Every evening and morning, I have to go line. I go line both evening and morning. Every evening, when I go to the tap, I try to cut the line because if I want home with no water, my mom or my sister will yell at me, and I hate that. The only time getting water was little easy is when it's raining. We will put packet and catch the running water in our house. Those was the happy time because I don't have to walk or wait the line. Those were the time that we played the children that we are. Thank you.
Hello, namaste. Good morning, everybody. My name is Bimal Gurung. I'm from Nepal. I'm 18 years old, and I have been here for 4 years, and I'm a senior student of Iroquois High School. The main water insecurity in my refugee camp is to get diseases and sickness from the dirty water. It was summertime. My brother, he just came from the soccer practice, and he was really thirsty. So all our buckets were empty, and he went to the tap to drink the water. But our the tap were already closed. Then he went to the pump to drink the water. But the pump were the pump that in my refugee camp, the pump, was like only the like kind of muddy water came from there, but he just drank that water. And that night it didn't happen to him anything, but the next morning like he got really sick. He said like his throat was like really sore. So we took him to the hospital, and doctor gave him some medicine, and after like 1 week he was like really fine. But the thing is, like in my refugee camp, it is common to get diseases by the pump water. So we just use the pump water for our washing our clothes and the planting. And actually, like we don't have advanced resources to build the pump that have clean and fresh water. And to have a safe pump, you have to dig at least like 20 feet deep to have safe and clean water. Also, it is very difficult to carry water in my refugee camp because like you have to carry water like 13 gallons of your each, and like 13 one side and one side 13, and it is very heavy. It is most difficult in the winter season because like in my refugee camp there's a lot of fogs, and also your hand became red. Also, it is like hurting so badly. And now like I don't have to do those things, but I feel bad for people who still live in my refugee camp, and I hope they will get new and advanced pump that would have safe and clean water. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Saylor, and I'm from Thailand. I'm 70 years old, and I have lived in America for 6 years, and I'm senior at Iroquois High School. It was difficult for us to get water in my country, because most of the time you have to walk alone by yourself without any adults with you. And not only that, also you will get chased by a dog. And not only the dogs are mean and wild, they also have disease like rabies. I remember a time when I went to get water, and I got chased by a dog, and I ran to climb up on a tree, and the tree was very little. I was afraid that if the tree breaks down, I might fall down and the dog might bite me. I was very scared, and my heart was very pounding. And another time when I went to get water, I got chased by a dog again, and I ran into someone's house. I didn't know the people who lived there, but they were very nice to me, and they welcomed me. When the dog left, I said goodbye, and I keep walked. In Thailand, when it's rainy season, it's always muddy, and all you have to wear is flip-flop. If your flip-flop got stuck into the mud, you can get new flip-flop because it's very expensive. In America, it's easy to get water. All you have to do is turn on the sink. Thank you.
Marhab, hello everyone. My name is Najwa Bab. I'm from Sudan, but I grew up in Chad in a refugee camp called Gaga. I'm 18 years old and I'm a senior at Iroquois High School. When I was in my country, it was very difficult for us to get water, especially when we carry 5 gallons of water, which weigh 41.7 pounds on our head. This weight really affected our neck because it compressed our spine. Sometimes when we wake up after carrying water, our whole body ached and we couldn't move our neck. In addition to container, I could also carry my little sister on my back. There were 2 places to get water in Gaga. The first was the tap. The tap was 10 minutes from our house, but it was very crowded and sometimes difficult to get water there because they ran out. The other place to get water was the well. The well is 30 minutes away. I could go to the well when the line at the tap was too long. If we walk, it takes a long time, so we tried to borrow my grandma's donkey whenever we could. If we went to the well, it was dangerous for us because we had to drop buckets into the well, and it was very heavy to pull back out. Sometimes adults tied rope around our waists and lower us into the well so that we could help the bucket. When we were inside of the well, it was very dark inside and very scary. When we filled the bucket, they pulled us out. When we came to United States, I'm done carrying water. Now I can spend the time that could be being getting water, going to school. Thank you.
Miglaba, my name is Xena. I'm 18 years old and I'm from Burma. I have been in the US for 6 years and I'm a senior at Iroquois High School. In my country, it is significantly dangerous to get fresh water for agriculture and consumption. We walk through the dark, foggy forests with tall, narrow trees and pathways covered in ground vines. You must be extremely careful of your steps because you could get caught in snare traps, spike traps, and gun traps. You could also get attacked by the wild animals like the bears, boars, and cats. My uncle got shot by a gun trap and died, and nobody discovered his body until the next day. It is common that people get injured while trying to get water. Young girls and tattooed-faced women will walk out to get water and wouldn't return sometimes. It's like a magic, except it wasn't as cool. Of course, I'm scared of the possibilities of injuries or death, but nothing is scarier than my mother's knock on the head with her strong, bony knuckles. It's not that my mom didn't care about my protection, it's the busyness of her trying to feed me and my siblings by planting and harvesting the produce. If we could have built the wells, then we wouldn't have to walk through all the terrible forests or worry about the wild animals. Thank you.
So these students were living the reality of seeing and experiencing 1 in 10 people on the planet not having access to safe water. The over 700 million people around the world. They saw children dying around them because of the diseases that were in the water. But what's so cool is that there are places, even in Louisville, Kentucky, that are working to be able to solve those problems. And at WaterStep, we've even been able to help some of the issues that these students experienced around the world in over 54 countries. And one of them is through this piece of equipment right here. This is a water chlorination system called the M100 that takes 2 tablespoons of salt and a car battery to chlorinate 10,000 gallons of water every single day, so that people don't have to drink unsafe water. They can make it safe to drink. Another thing that we do is we have a bleach maker that makes a gallon of bleach in 75 minutes with the same 2 ingredients, salt and a car battery, so that people can sanitize the surfaces that they're using and kill the germs and the pathogens around them to stop the spread of disease. And lastly, the most fun one, we have something called the water ball. And you heard a lot of these students talking about how they had to get water from miles and miles away. Well, this makes it so much easier. You all are familiar with the photos and videos of women carrying water on their heads. And the reality is that water is very heavy. It's sitting on their backs, injuring them, and they have to do that every day. So we've also given them a way to be able to make water transportation easier. So as you can see today, this water issue is very real. It's not something that we just hear stories about. Real people have experienced these things. These 8 high school students behind me have experienced these things. But we have ways to be able to help those people and to be able to solve those problems. As Bimal said, he has safe water now because he's here, but he's sad for the people back home. So we have a way, and we can band together to help those people around the world. Thank you.